Hello, welcome back to Trust Me, I'm an Idiot. Today, we're going to be making some blanks for wood turning pens. This one is made out of 5,000-year-old bog oak, basically an oak tree that fell over into a swamp and sat there for about 5,000 years, getting this lovely natural dark color. Quite cool. But, you can just buy this stuff online. I want to make my own. Now, this is a piece of, I think, juniper that I picked up on my trip to the Grand Canyon. So a little more sentimental value to it for me. And I want to turn this into a pen blank, but I don't want to just turn this because it's got cracks and everything running through it. So if I try to turn it as is, it would just fall apart and not work really well. So what we're going to do, pardon the sump pump, we had a lot of rain. What we're going to do is fill all the voids with epoxy. This stuff dries fairly clear. I've used it on a couple other projects, but that would also just not be good. That would be fun enough. So we're going to add glow-in-the-dark pigment to it. So the epoxy parts will glow in the dark. The wood parts will look like wood, and it should be fantastic.
Yeah, what you plan and what takes place ain't ever exactly been similar.
So the first thing we need to do is make a little tray to cast the epoxy into. So I have my mold built. It's just scrap laying around the shop. The piece fits in it quite nicely. Now I want to make sure it's a little extra watertight in case I don't want the epoxy and resin seeping out between the joints. So I'm going to wrap the whole thing in packing tape. Actually, we're not going to mix up some epoxy because I ordered the wrong stuff. This stuff will turn white, solid opaque. I don't want that. I want sort of that clear, sort of milky, translucent stuff to make the glowing actually, more substantial. So, we turn this, go get the right stuff. All right, a couple days later, we have the correct stuff now that it is clear, not going to be opaque white. So we can get started with mixing our epoxy. And you mix this stuff, it comes in 2 bottles, 2 parts, and it's equal size, equal amounts of each by volume, not by weight. So let's mix those cups up. Now give the glow-in-the-dark effect and add this glow-in-the-dark pigment. So I ordered a 30-gram packet. I used 20 grams in another project, so I got about 10 left, and that gives me a pretty good density of pigment to epoxies for a pretty good glow effect. So let's add the as this is a wood piece and wood floats generally, I don't want it to float out. I use a little plastic wedge to lock it in place. All right, it's been a couple days. Epoxy's nice and hard. See if we can't free it from the mold. Use a combination of the chop saw and the bandsaw for this. Okay, so now that we have mostly squared off, we can start cutting it into blanks for making the pens. Now we need to make the center mark for our hole. Now we need to rough up the tube to give the glue something to grab onto, otherwise it might slip out. And then we'll glue it into place with a little bit of super glue. Now you can use like two-part epoxy, and there's special like pen epoxy and everything you can now use as well. But I like super glue because it's quick, it's easy, it holds really well, and it's good enough for my pens. Generous amount, making sure I don't glue my fingers to the metal, hopefully. Alright, that looks good. Slide it on in there. Okay, a little bit of excess there. Another piece of tape. I'll let that dry and then we'll be ready to turn. Right, so I've got it mounted up in the lathe. Now it's worth knowing that pretty much every pen kit that you get will need specific bushings to allow you to carve down to the size of the rest of the fittings. They're pretty much unique to every pen kit, so be prepared to spend $7 on each style that you want to do, but you can of course cut dozens and dozens of pens out of this. So I need to lock the tailstock into place, get everything secure. Now let's put on our safety glasses, your protection, be ready to carve. And I'm using a round carbide bit for this. We're going to take off small amounts to get it to a round shape, and then we can start shaping it to our desired final circumference. knock those corners down. Now I'm taking very shallow, gentle cuts because I have not cut this type of epoxy, this particular epoxy before, nor this particular wood. So I don't want to make sure I'm not going too hard, which would cause some splits. So I've got a little area here to worry about. There, you can see a little piece connection out. So I have to keep an eye on that. Slow and steady wins the race on this. Try to move the fence a little bit closer. It's kind of pulling me down a little too much because I'm kind of far away. It's kind of an old lathe, so we'll see what we can do. That's got him. All right, now up and up and up, finer grit sandpaper, although we get a almost near polished finish. Clean up with the tack rag here, get the dust off. And then for a finish, because this wood is actually somewhat soft and it's going to be handled, I want a fairly hard finish. So I'm going to go gloss. For this, I like to use the wipe on poly. Use it for a lot of other projects, so I always pretty much have it on hand. And it's really nice because when you apply it with it running, the heat that you generate actually cures it pretty quickly. Beautiful, look at that grain, and the milkiness from the resin. Yeah, this will be beautiful and fun. Alright, so we'll give that an extra 10 minutes or so to dry, and then we can assemble the pen. There we go. Now we need to press these fittings into place. For that, we use the bench vise. Now we need to decide where we want the clip to rest. So once we get it all pressed on in, it may be difficult to move. I think I'm going to have it more or less centered in the resin section. And then my jaws don't open actually wide enough to do the whole pen at once, so I'm just going to do this back section first. Should go straight. And gently press it into place. Once that's sandwiched, we don't need to press really super hard because we don't want to shatter the wood or the resin. Okay. Then back to bench, figure out how to put front piece on. I don't want to hammer this on because that could cause shock to go through here and cause it to break. So instead, we want to press it into place. I think I'm actually going to try this clamp right here. That should be good enough. not going well. It keeps wanting to kind of lean over and go in crooked. Well, maybe a hammer is what we're gonna have to do anyway. Well, give it a whirl. Alright, sorry I forgot to film, but I was able to use this vise